Today we have another video from Gamesir. They've kindly provided me the X5s and the F5s. This is a thermoelectric cooler, and this itself is a wireless game controller for your mobile phone or other devices. So we'll talk about that in a moment. I just want to say thank you very much for Gamesir for sending this over to review. Obviously all my thoughts and opinions are of my own. I was actually going to upload this slightly earlier, just after Christmas, but unfortunately I got ill, and then I thought I might as well take a little bit of time off to actually just get better and then start making videos again. So what we're going to do is, I actually already have all this unboxed, but you can see the box art and everything itself as well, so you've got a bit of information on here. You can pause it if you would like to, but we will get into what the actual devices are like in a moment. So that's all the box art there. You can pause it, and we're also going to weigh the devices as well, because it's a handheld. You don't want it too heavy, so we're going to see what that is like. First off, we have what comes in the boxes. So this is for the F5s. It's a type C to A, and this is for the X5s, which is also a type C and A cable, both used for charging said devices. Now in the X5s box as well, you do get a manual. You do get a manual in the F5s, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory in a second. You do get a manual, and I think it's like a little coastery cleaning cloth, it seems, as well as some extra rubber pads, and I will show you where to place those. They do come as extras depending on how wide or thin your device is as well. So we'll move that off to the side. We'll get to the F5s, which is the thermoelectric cooler, first, and then we'll get to the main attraction in a moment. So this is the thermoelectric cooler itself. This is a 3000 milliamp hour battery pack with an indicator and some RGB on here as well, and you charge it via type C. So that's pretty handy. The original light one was basically wired, basically this wired only, but this clicks into here like so. We'll do it on the device as well. You just click it in, and there you go, and you can probably hear it. There's different modes you can choose on the device itself. There's like turbo mode, overclocking mode, and extreme cold mode, and that basically cools this little metal pad here, which goes on the back of your phone when it's on the device, and it basically just helps the device keep cooler, which means you can have longer gaming sessions. But yeah, there's three modes: silent mode, extreme cold mode, and overclocking mode. It's about 7 watts, 9 watts, and 10.5 watts. But I quite like the idea of this, because long gaming sessions, your phone gets hot, and then your battery on your phone gets drained quicker, just because your CPU is thermal throttling in the phone itself. So this should keep the device cooler as well. It's got quite a big pad. I think it's 25mm by 25mm, so it's quite a large surface area for cooling. But we'll get to that in a bit. It also, instead of just pulling, it pulls air in and pushes it upwards through the device, which is like a chimney effect, which is how it should be, because obviously heat rises, as that's how it works. We'll put that off to the side for now, and we'll get to the main attraction, and we will weigh everything in a bit. So this is the X5s. Now, this is how it comes in the box itself, in a plastic hardshell carrying case. There is a type C visible right there, which is used to charge the device, but you can also use the device wired if you don't want to use the internal battery itself. So we'll open the plastic case. It's just got these little tabs, and you're greeted with the device itself. Now, as you can see, you have a little keycap style puller here, and that is, in a moment, I'm not going to do it on screen, but you can swap the A, B, X and Y around, so you can have like A, X, B, Y, and just change things around depending on how you like your design on your controller. Some people prefer like the PlayStation style layout, or the Xbox layout, or the even going back further to like the GameCube layout. Now, as you can see, it's quite a small small device. It's pretty comfortable, I'd say. It's resting in my hands quite nice. The grips are textured at the back, which is pretty nice to have textured grips. Now, apparently, I will weigh this in a second, but it's 174 grams, and that should be without anything extra. So what we'll do, we'll put this right in front of my camera. We'll move that there. So let's zero that out and put this on. So it's actually lighter, and this is a calibrated scale for models and things like that. So 167 grams, they are saying it's 174 grams. So it is lighter than what is advertised, which I would actually say is probably a benefit, because you don't want anything quite heavy basically on your device at all, like holding it for a long time. Like there's a bunch of big handhelds that are Windows or SteamOS based that is pretty heavy. So also weighing the actual, it's roughly the same weight for the battery pack and the actual cooler itself. Now if we just weigh the cooler, 78 grams, and if we just weigh the battery pack, it's about 78 grams. So there is that. What we'll do as well is when we put everything together with my phone and everything, we'll weigh it again just to see how heavy it actually becomes. So we'll turn the scale off for now, and we'll put this to one side. Now, I did not mention, unfortunately, that how expensive these products are, or how, say, actually reasonably priced these are. So the FX5 cooler is £45.99, and the X5s is £49.99, and that's in Great British pounds, so you'll have to check on your regional Gamesir site for that one, on how it is for your local currency. Now, I actually think they do possibly have a bundle for this, which you get this considerably cheaper. If you buy this separate, I think it's more expensive. Don't quote me on that, but I think that is the case. So we'll go back to the Gamesir controller itself. So the X5s. So obviously we've just weighed it, and it is lighter than they say. Now, it can have devices all the way from here to here, but it does extend all the way from 105 millimeters to 213, which is basically, I think, an iPad mini, or at least something like that. Now, I am using quite a bit of force to pull this. It is spring loaded. I don't want to snap it all the way, but it is. I wouldn't do that because you probably will break it, but it's very springy. So it's got tri-mode. So connections, so obviously you've got wired from here, you've got Bluetooth connectivity, and you can also have it as a 2.4 gigahertz dongle, but unfortunately they don't actually include that in the box, which I think is a bit of a shame. If you're advertising it as a tri-mode device, you should actually have all the things that are included to be able to make it a tri-mode device. So you actually have to purchase that 2.4 gigahertz dongles separately, which I think is a shame, considering 2.4 gigahertz dongles are super cheap and they should really include that. But moving on to the different types of triggers and things, so they are Hall effect, like the sticks are Hall effect, but you've also got trigger modes. So if you can basically press M and LT and RT, you get different modes for, I think, quickness of how the triggers shoot, which is pretty cool as well. Now, you do have rumble modes. You do have rumble packs in here. There's one in here and one in here in each hand stick. So you do have little rumble motors, and you can change how much they vibrate or how strong the vibration is from the rumble motors, which is pretty cool. The original Lite, or the other model, the Lite model, does not have the rumble motors in. It also has a gyro, like the PlayStation controller, things like that. So if you're playing a racing game, you can move it around, or if you're playing like a puzzle game, something like that, it's got a gyroscope in it, so you can move it around. I probably would disable that, just because if you're using a device like this, you're probably in a car or a plane or train or something like that, and you just want to whip it out your backpack and start playing or something, if you don't want to buy an actual handheld and you just want to use your mobile. But if you're in a car or something, you're going to be you know, potholes and going around corners and things. So I would actually probably disable that. It's a good feature, I guess, if you're sat on your sofa or in bed or something. It may be a good feature for puzzle games, but on the go, probably not the best. As I did mention, the ABXY is swappable, and the battery size for this is 840 milliamp hours, which, considering this apparently is 3000 milliamp hours, you probably could have fit a slightly bigger battery in this. I know it's Bluetooth, so it should probably last quite a while, but I wonder if you could probably fit maybe 1000 milliamp hour battery in this somewhere. Now, textured grips, as I did mention, and these swappable silicone pads, so you can pull these off right there. There you go, you can pull these off, and they literally just pull off with little pegs in the bottom, and they just come off and you can just swap them. I think it's depending on how wide or your device is and how cushioned you would like it. Now, as well, this does have a companion app, so you can change a bunch of settings in the Gamesir app as well. Unfortunately, I don't have the app on me that I can show you, but if you just download it, you can change a bunch of different settings, probably like actual dead zone, the D-pad, what you like, custom settings, basically like how you would on a keyboard, for triggers as well, and just like remapping. So what we'll do next is we shall get my device. I would probably take off your case, because depending on what type of device you have, probably would want to take off your device depending on how it is. Now, I do have a 17 Pro, so if you look at that, it's not very straight in the device itself. That probably doesn't help that it's got a camera plateau, but what we can do is, if I just open and take my case off and put the phone in the other way and see what that's like. Yeah, so I would probably put the phone on the small thinner end, like so. That's much better. So yeah, don't use a case with it if you can help it. So device is in there. It's definitely starting to get a bit heavier now, especially with the device in the middle, but I think because all the weight's distributed across all this, it's probably slightly better. So we'll weigh this right now with my iPhone 17 Pro, and we'll see what weight we get with it. Like that, 0. It's about 383 grams, so we are starting to get a bit heavier now. And then we are going to also put the thermoelectric cooler on. So with the thermoelectric cooler, what you need to do is it goes on the Gamesir itself. So it just literally slides onto the Gamesir like that. That's all you have to do. And then we'll put the battery pack on in a moment as well. So we'll put the phone back, and look, if you look at that, it goes on the phone. Siri, this is not the time to be going off. There you go, and that is on the back of your phone now, which means all the cooling is coming off the back of the phone. That metal plate is touching the phone itself, and the heat is coming off it. Now, if I just lock my phone again, thank you very much. We'll do it without the battery pack, like it was wired, like if you had it wired basically. So we'll do this, we'll zero it. Now we're up to 460 grams. It's starting to get a bit heavy now. And then with the battery pack, it's going to start going off, because that's what it does as soon as you plug it in. It's going to start going off, but it's not going to be very well balanced. But now it's 538 grams. Let's try it in a different area. Yeah, it's about 537, 538 grams. So I would say this is now pretty heavy. So I'm not sure if I would use this daily, the F5s daily as a cooler, especially if I'm only gaming for 15-20 minutes, if I just want to kill some time somewhere. But if I'm gaming for a long session, I probably would use it, just only when I've started to go past that oh no, my phone's getting hot, it needs to cool down. So what we'll do is I will set it up, I'll get a game on and we'll play two games just to see what it's like, and then I will give my overall consensus of the device itself. So I've just loaded up Alien Isolation here on mobile, as you can see, and it connected straight away to the device when I put it in. Just went to the Bluetooth settings and then connected it. So it works straight away. Got A, B, X and Y, everything works instantly. Now this is one of my favorite games of all time, Alien Isolation. It is a fantastic horror game, and I do advise you to play it itself. And there you go, look at that, there's a shower. Wander around, get dressed. We shall also play a slightly different game in a moment. I just wanted to show you that, you know, different games do work with it, and this is just a single player game, but it is quite comfortable. I am leaning it, I am putting my hands on the desk itself while I play this, but I'm also angling it not an angle I would usually play at, just because if I do that, you know, you will get the reflections. But if I play in a comfortable position, which is probably around about there, it is pretty nice, especially while leaning on the desk. So I will swap to a different game in a second, and we shall see what I can get out of it playing something like an FPS game. I have just loaded up Call of Duty Mobile. We are playing on Crash. Now, I'm not a console player slash actual controller player itself, so this is a bit more unlike what I usually play. I'm keyboard and mouse only, really, unless it's a platformer. But I would say this is probably, I would pick this up if I didn't already have one that Gamesir gave me. I would definitely think about picking one up, for the simple fact is it's simple to just throw in your bag or something. It's got a case, you know, and for 15-20 minutes of sitting on a bus or something like that, I could see using this. Now, obviously I did mention the pricing earlier for this is $49.99, which makes me think about the price of the FX5, which is the thermoelectric cooler, which is $45.99. Now, thinking about it, I think that's a tough sell. Now, if the FX5 cooler was something like, I don't know, £20 instead of $45.99, I think that would make much more reasonable sense, because it is a bit more niche of a product, because it's for the dedicated mobile phone gamers really that need the cooling. So $45.99 is a bit on the pricier side, I would say, compared to this handheld, which is $49.99. So it's only £4 more and you get a full handheld for your phone. So I think the pricing structure is a bit different, unfortunately, a bit too stark. But, you know, the product is priced at what they feel is reasonable, and reasonable is basically up to the consumer themselves. So if you would like to purchase it at that price, there's that, but I would probably suggest to Gamesir to maybe lower the price for it. But yeah, I have enjoyed. Hey, there we go, got a kill. I've enjoyed using this so far. I've only used it for 10-15 minutes while we've been here, and I've got to say, so far I'll probably pick one up. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in a different video. I will be also reviewing a keyboard and mouse, but just the mouse side of it for now. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in a different video. Peace out.